And Tate here on Fantasy Focus, brought to you by the Original Hooters. I'm your host, Derek Tate, alongside Samantha Holt over there in Los Angeles, California. Sam, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great this evening. I just had some pizza, got my Bon and Viv spiked seltzer, ready to talk some football.
Are you really? I mean, I know you're a Steelers fan. You lost bet. In fact, that's what we're going to lead off with right now.
We're going to lead off with my team.
Major injuries that happened over the in the NFL over the weekend. And notably, it's been at the quarterback position with two veteran QBs in Ben Roethlisberger, who is getting season-ending elbow sold. He already had the elbow surgery. He is out for the rest of the year. The Steelers are going to be rolling with Mason Rudolph under center to start off. Maybe we'll see Joshua Dobbs at some point. But for right now, it is Mason Rudolph that's going to be under center for the Steelers. And Drew Brees, he's expected to miss somewhere around 6 weeks. An injury to his thumb. Aaron Donald broke through the pocket, basically gave him a hammer club high five on that thumb. He's going to be out for a while, and we're going to see Teddy Bridgewater under center. We may see a little bit of Taysom Hill. But the opening debate on this episode of the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate, who is going to see the bigger dip in value now that their respective quarterbacks are gone? Is it going to be Juju Smith-Schuster? We'll start at the wide receiver spot. Juju Smith-Schuster or Michael Thomas?
Well, I think that these kind of play into each other. And I think that because the next debate, too, is Kamara versus James Conner. So I'll just kind of go back and forth, I guess, between the two, because my argument is kind of the same. So sadly, I think that the dip in value has to go to both of my Steelers players, just because Rudolph has more familiarity with the twos already. He's already been practicing with them. He practiced with them last year, so he has that familiarity. And plus, like, he's got that, what do you even call it? He's got that buddy thing going on with James Washington, so he's already got that familiarity. I think that you're just going to see the ball, because they have so many playmakers in Pittsburgh, it's just going to get spread out so much more. Plus, I mean, I think Vance McDonald's numbers are going to go up a little bit. We already saw that, so I think that it's just going to be spread out too even versus in New Orleans, where I mean, both Michael Thomas and then even Alvin Kamara, they're the guys. They're always going to get the number one looks. And I just don't think they have that depth that the Steelers do in just being able to spread the ball out. So I think overall, value-wise, Juju and both James Conner have to take a dip. Plus, if we go into James Conner just a little bit more, he did bang up his knee. He said he's going to play Sunday. Tomlin has said that even though he's not saying for sure he will or will not play, he's going to let the practice dictate how that goes. But he even said, and then the carries will get divvied up from there, which means he's already expecting to pass the ball around.
And that's all well and fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with my counter argument. Who would you say on draft day just a couple weeks ago or last month, was it the Steelers players or the Saints players that were drafted higher? Who did you have higher expectations for? Now, the answer in most situations were Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Kamara was a top 3 pick in a lot of drafts. James Conner was somewhere around late first, early second. And then same thing with Michael Thomas. He was normally a late first round pick. Juju Smith-Schuster firmly planted somewhere in the second round. So my point being with this is that the dip in value, I don't know what to expect as far as Teddy Bridgewater under center. In fact, I saw some good things from Mason Rudolph last week. He threw 2 touchdowns as opposed to Bridgewater. That offense looked all out of sorts once Drew Brees was out of the game. So for me in particular, I think it's actually going to be, and now I agree that Connor doesn't give me the feel goods. I still think Kamara is absolutely the man. But for Michael Thomas, his value scares me a little bit in the fact that there are a lack of other tertiary options out there to kind of draw attention away from him. And I'm not sure Bridgewater is going to be able to capitalize and get coverage off of him. It was really Brees who was able to throw him open in a lot of scenarios with his pinpoint accuracy and his chemistry with Michael Thomas. Juju, I think that he's still going to see plenty of looks. I know that Mason Rudolph and James Washington have their college chemistry, rapport, whatever you want to call it, clicking. But I still think Juju is going to be the top dog as far as targets go. Thomas isn't going to be as efficient as he is. He's still going to see plenty of looks, but I think it's actually Juju that sees going to stay somewhere around the same value as opposed to Michael Thomas.
Sure, I can see that. I mean, just looking at the numbers, though, Michael Thomas had 13 targets in week 1, 13 targets last week. So, yes, he had less yards. He had equal number of receptions, 10 for 10. So, really, I think that just shows game script right there of LA being able to hold him back. But I think that he's still going to get – is he going to get the average of 10 or the average of whatever he normally would get for the Brees? No, but I think on average, his targets, his receptions are going to still be higher overall than what Juju's will be. I mean – it's just that the ball is just going to get spread out more evenly there in Pitt.
I mean, like you said, 13 targets last week for Michael Thomas. It was only 8 for Juju Smith-Schuster. He put up 5 for 84 yards. So, I mean, really both teams, it's going to be very interesting. In fact, and we're going to talk about buy low, sell high a little bit later in the episode. But I think that any of these Steelers or Saints players are interesting buys right now because there's probably a lot of uncertainty for their owners. For me in particular, I have shares of Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, and they both kind of make me a little uneasy, just not knowing for the next 6 weeks what this offense is going to look like if they're going to be even a third as efficient with Drew Brees not under center. So for me, I'm a little concerned, but we'll move on. The Chiefs wide receivers. So no Tyreek Hill.
Hot stuff over there.
Real hot.
Real hot.
Sauce, you know,
I'm not a big hot sauce
guy. I got a weak stomach.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that weak stomach maybe later on the final debate. But we saw DeMarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman, the rookie out of the University of Georgia. They both shined out against the
two
Oakland
players
Raiders.
you totally knew to draft real early.
Look, Mecole Hardman was interesting. No, I don't think anybody saw once Tyreek Hill was coming back. No one really had DeMarcus Robinson on their respective radars. So we see Robinson catch every single target thrown his way, 6 for 172 yards and 2 tutties. And Mecole Hardman, I mean, found the end zone in his own right. But I'm going to ask you, which of these Chiefs wide receivers are you higher on moving forward as long as Tyreek Hill is on the shelf?
I think this is going to be a week to week. You're going to see one of these guys kind of get set apart. And if anything, it's going to kind of look a bit like the Rams receiving core in, Kupp, Cooks, and Woods. And one guy is going to be the star each week, but there's going to be a really good amount of work for each. I'm kind of leaning towards DeMarcus Robinson just because he ekes past in yards and productivity. He's just got crazy speed. I think that he can just get a lot more with each of his catches and what he does with them after. So I'm going to lean towards him, but I think that both him and Hardman need to be picked up this week. If they haven't been picked up, then people are sleeping in your league and you need to pick at least one of them up.
See, I think we're going to see Mecole Hardman continue to grow into his role and get more and more integrated into this offense. I mean, he was really a raw prospect out of the University of Georgia. Crazy good athlete. Robinson, don't get me wrong, for a guy that's his size, he runs very well. I've always thought if you give him an opportunity, he'll be able to produce. And he did in a big way.
Yeah.
With, of course, Patrick Mahomes under center. Here's the thing.
That doesn't hurt.
Now, you mentioned, what was it, Jared Goff and having those 3 pass catchers and Cooks, Kupp, and Woods. I think that this may be similar to that, but on steroids because you got Patrick Mahomes pulling the trigger.
No, it's on another level. Like the faucet's running and it's not going to get shut off. Like there's going to be crazy amount of receptions to be had when he's slinging the ball, clearly.
And what I saw from Mecole Hardman, I think they're going to find ways to get him the ball, especially now that both running backs are a little bit banged up there in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. LaShawn McCoy and Damian Williams both dealing with injuries of their own right. We don't know their status for the upcoming week quite yet, but that only means someone like Mecole Hardman, who you just need to get the ball in his hands. I really expect his role to continue to expand, even though it's only his 3rd week of NFL action. I don't be wrong. DeMarcus Robinson is definitely worth an add and a start, but I feel a little bit more. I feel a lot. It gives me the feel goods when it comes to Mecole Hardman. So I'm going to roll with Hardman in this one.
Sure.
So speaking of rookie wide receivers, we've got a couple that are off to a hot start. And I'm going to go ahead and jump. Before we jump to that, we got some comments. We got Fred Lee Jimenez. Welcome back,
hey,
hello, guys. And he actually wants to know Breida or Montgomery as a running back 2 moving forward. So we'll go ahead and jump on that here real quick. So I'll throw it to you first. Breida or Montgomery?
I really want to believe in Montgomery. I want to believe he's going to be getting the ball. They got to be working things out there in Chicago, and they got to see that he's the talent they need to be getting the ball. So I want to go with Montgomery this week.
I am going to go with Matt Breida. Look, I understand that David Montgomery I think he's a hell of a talent. And it's
hell of an athlete.
I mean, actually, his athleticism wasn't something that really jumps out to me. I mean, he's a good athlete, but he's not a world beater of an athlete. He doesn't have home run speed. He's just a hell of a football player. And I think Matt Nagy finally figured that out last week as he significantly outsnapped Mike Davis, as he should have in the first place in week 1. But I'm so worried about this Bears offense. It is a complete dumpster fire with Mitchell Trubisky under center. I don't trust him whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's
a little disappointing, right?
I'm going to ask you if Mitchell Trubisky can't find the end zone through the air and they struggle and say they lose to the Washington Redskins on Monday Night Football. I mean, they already had laid an egg on the opening primetime game against the Green Bay Packers. If they struggle again and Trubisky looks like trash again on national television and say they lose to the Washington Redskins, I would not be shocked if at some point we see Chase Daniel under center. That's how concerned I am about Trubisky this year.
Yeah, he's got to turn it around. He's got to do something. And at this point, is it him? Is the coaching? It might be him.
It's a little bit both. It's a little bit of both. It is definitely a little bit of both.
Got to get the ball in the right place. Kind of both.
I mean, the Bears should be 0-2. They really 100% should be 0-2. I mean, Eddie Pinheiro saved their asses.
Yeah.
And now they're 1-1 headed into week 3. So the world isn't, the sky isn't falling over there in Chicago yet. But for me, I'm sorry, Fredley. This is a very long-winded answer. Matt Breida. I know that Matt Breida. I'm sorry, I do get a little animated when it comes to it. But Matt Breida, this San Francisco offense looks completely different with Jimmy G under center. Jimmy G had a great week. I mean, granted, it was against a terrible Cincinnati, defense, but Breida ran for over 100 yards. I know he's in a little bit of a time split with Raheem Mostert, and even unfortunately, Jeff Wilson found the end zone twice on the ground. So that was a little bit maddening. And it's, Breida could have had a monster day. But I still feel comfortable with Breida moving forward, expect more so for this week than over David Montgomery. So,
I mean, yeah, he is leading them in yards for rushing. So I guess I see that. He's leading them in carries as well. But.
So, Nick Bird, thanks for joining us. I just traded Tyreek Hill for David Montgomery. Don't think Tyreek is coming back. I feel bad now that I just slammed David Montgomery against Matt Breida. But if you don't feel confident that Tyreek Hill is coming back anytime soon, I do expect David Montgomery to continue to get more and more looks. And I really hope that Mitchell Trubisky progresses back, or at least even gets back to what he looked like in the beginning half of 2018. Because if he does, then this is going to be a productive offense, and Montgomery is the running back to own.
And it is looking a little bit crowded over there in Kansas City.
Correct. I mean, there's a lot of pass catchers that can do some great things, clearly.
Very little, yeah. I mean, easily, each of these pass catchers could get 4 catches a game, and each of them have over 100 yards. We just don't know. Like, they're all very talented. They've got Mahomes. There's a lot of opportunity there, but I think that was probably a pretty good trade.
We just don't know exactly. So I think that they're going to be somewhere around total points-wise, right around the same area. I think Montgomery, with the fact that he's not scheduled to miss any time, could definitely outscore Tyreek Hill for the rest of the year. So when Tyreek Hill comes back, he's Tyreek Hill, though. So, I mean, let's not overblow it. But if he does miss more time than expected, then you definitely win that trade 100%. And Fredley Jimenez definitely agrees with you. And he would still start – he would go with Breida over Montgomery for now, though. So, hey, I've got the chat comments. They're on my side, Sam. What do you think about that, huh?
That's okay.
Thanks. That's all that Fredley does. And how about Darwin Thompson with their banged-up running backs? Look, I added Darwin Thompson myself in one of our Fantasy Focus listener leagues. I want to pick up Darwin Thompson. It was something Andy Reid said that he wants to make sure that Darwin Thompson knows what the hell he's doing in pass protection, though. before he starts seeing more work. However, if McCoy, Williams, one or the other, or both miss some time with their respective injuries, then Darwin Thompson is worth a spot start this week.
Absolutely. I mean, and then Andy Reid's going to play this. He's going to play this smart. Even if they're both a little bit banged up, he's going to manage what they do. If he's got other people that he can give the ball, that's going to be an easy decision for him. So I definitely think that Darwin Thompson is a good start.
We got Ryan B. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Ryan.
Mark Andrews, a top 7, I'm assuming tight end throughout the season, and is Derrick Henry a top 15 running back throughout the rest of the year? So I'll let you jump in on this one first.
I mean, I think that given the way that the ball is getting out right there, I think that Mark Andrews is easily top 7 tight end. I mean, the tight end is already looking pretty bleak as things are going this season. So I think that he will be a top 7 tight end. Do you disagree that he's outside?
As of right now, we've already thought that tight end is a dumpster fire heading into the year.
Word of the day.
Outside, yeah, we keep using. We'll sprinkle in some different words. I promise. I have a source next to me.
Do I take a drink every time you say dumpster fire?
That I can do that.
Right.
But so when it comes to Mark Andrews, the way, and I like Mark Andrews heading into the year, the way that Lamar Jackson is playing right now, I mean, hell, he's an MVP candidate. I know that he played 2 defenses that are arguably going to be amongst the worst units in the NFL, potentially. And, obviously the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins, which are, I'm not going to use that word because I don't want to have to drink, but they are going to be the worst team. They are clearly tanking. The tank is on for the Miami. Full tank. And they went full tank. So for them, I don't know if Jackson can keep this up, but right now he looks like a league winner. And Mark Andrews looks like the most consistent, reliable pass catcher. I love Hollywood Brown, but if we're looking for a possession guy, Andrews looks like he's the guy.
Yeah.
And
he's had over 100 yards.
I know. Weeks. So for me, absolutely top 7. The question is he a top 3 tight end for the rest of the year is what I really think.
Yeah. Which, I mean, given the way things are shaking out, it wouldn't be crazy talk.
I mean, if they kept playing the Dolphins every week, though,
if Jackson could keep it up, it wouldn't be that crazy. But I don't necessarily see Jackson keeping it up that long. He's going to continue to have these good weeks. He's going to have a few bad weeks. So top 5 end of season, I'd even say, for Andrews. But
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game this week between them and the Kansas City Chiefs. So this week, you're definitely starting Mark Andrews if you have him, without a doubt. So, so thanks for the question, though. And Derrick Henry. We didn't get to Derrick Henry yet. So I'll jump in on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Yes, last week I said that Derrick Henry was one of my sell highs.
Yeah.
And I still believe that Derrick Henry is going to have trouble sustaining. I still think he's going to be volatile because I don't trust Marcus Mariota. And Mariota got dinged up yet again. Granted, the Titans look like a good football team, though. And I don't doubt for a second that the formula for them to win football games is to play defense and to give the damn ball to Derrick Henry. And if that's the theory, and if that defense can stay out in front of teams, then Derrick Henry's going to see 20 or more touches, and then he will finish every week as a top 15 running back. It's just those damn weeks that the Titans can't someone put some points up against the Titans, and then they have to throw the football.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's when you're going to see Derrick Henry's value disappear. So do I think he finishes the year as a top 15 guy, even in PPR formats? Yes, I do, but I think he's going to be volatile as hell, and there's going to be some weeks where he lays an egg and gets you less than 3 or 4 points, and you're going to be kicking yourself, but he's going to also get you some games where he puts 20 to 30 points on the board.
And I mean, he's going to be carrying this team on his back too. So that's a lot of work to be putting on that position. And so you also have to worry about injury there. To me, that's the only thing that would keep him out, obviously, of the top 15, just consistency and that volume, that workload. Is he going to be able to keep it up week to week? But, if things keep going the way they're going, easily top 15.
You remember what he did last? I mean, they play tomorrow night against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You remember what he did last year against the Jacksonville Jaguars the second time they played, correct? It was only 4 touchdowns.
Oh, only?
Only 4 tutties. Yeah, he scored I think it was like a 50 fantasy point performance. It was
That's too
madness.
bad. It sucks. Wish you could.
So Fredley Jimenez again hitting us with another question. Keep firing away, Fredley. We love it. Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers this week? And you make that face.
It just says a lot for how poorly Rodgers is performing that we're having that question. Like,
Packers are 2-0. I mean, in week 1, they ran into a buzzsaw of a Bears defense, and I thought he played pretty damn good against a Vikings defense that stifled Matt Ryan and the Falcons in week 1. Mm-hmm. I mean, Aaron Jones looked great, by the way.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, finally. Like, at least you don't have to panic there. So that is really, that's a big relief to me. But I don't know, Josh Allen with the running over Rodgers. Rodgers is going to even out. I mean, it's a slow start, but I think that he'll end up evening out. And over the course of the season, you look back, I think you're going to wish you'd had Rodgers. So this week, though, against the Broncos.
Fredley, I'm going to jump in. Josh Allen's going against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that defense is trash. So for me, the rushing floor that you get with Josh Allen, because that man is not scared to tuck the ball away and take off on you. And I do think that he's going to be able to find John Brown, who I think is chronically under the radar right now, a pretty good PPR option, even though he hasn't had a monster. I mean, he had a great week in week 1 against the Jets. He had a so-so week last week, but I feel confident in Josh Allen. I mean, I know he had a turnover machine in week 1, but he's playing against the Bengals this week. I'm okay with starting him over Aaron Rodgers. I know that sounds absolutely crazy.
It does sound crazy. It's the matchup. You got to look at the running yards. I mean, I have to agree. Yeah. Start Josh Allen over Rodgers.
That just sounds wrong. I mean, I'm not going to. It's worth considering for sure. So we got Daniel Roman. Daniel, thank you for joining us, my man. And should Edelman be traded? Or should Edelman be traded?
Should I have traded him?
I am Ron Burgundy. If we can get a little clarification on that question.
Should you trade Julian Edelman? If that were the question, you could probably trade him. What would you expect to get back if you were trading Julian Edelman?
Oh, should Edelman be traded? There we go. Couple further down. My apologies, Daniel. My apologies. So should Edelman be traded? I mean, I don't really have any opinions one way or the other. I mean, if you're talking from a fantasy perspective, you can go ahead and try to sell him as a wide receiver too. He's still Tom Brady's favorite target. For me, I'm still holding Julian Edelman in most scenarios. Wait for him to have a big week before you trade him. If you're talking about trading off the team, I don't think he's going anywhere from.
No, he's best buds with Brady, and he's one of those guys that's going to retire being a Patriot, so he's not going to get traded.
They're peas and carrots. They're not going anywhere. Nick Bird, what do you guys think of Eckler? Sell high or ride him out? So this is
ride him out. Easy answer for me. Easy answer for me.
Sell high, buy low. So let's start with sell high, and we'll start with Austin Eckler. I'm gonna throw it. So yeah, you said hold. Tell me why.
I said hold on to him because he's doing fantastic. There is the soonest we might see Melvin Gordon because he's holding out and they've made no move saying that they're going to even be talking to him about anything. And he's still looking for trades other places. Maybe week 10, because I think that's the last week he can actually show up and still get paid and not completely miss out on a paycheck this year.
This is not a Le'Veon Bell situation. I agree with that.
So, I mean, he's holding out and he will hold out to the last minute that he can. So I would just hold on to Eckler. You got 10 weeks there. Guaranteed 10 weeks of that kind of production, and they just keep feeding it to him. So I would hold on to him just because that is so consistent.
He's the running back one. Not just like from last week 1 or week 2. He is the running back one through the first 2 weeks of the season. That means he scored more points than Saquon, Zeke, McCaffrey. I mean, what is there to debate here? Like, I get that Melvin Gordon certainly poses a threat. Could Melvin Gordon come back tomorrow and change his
and just mess it all up?
Yes, absolutely. So Bird, Nick, it's definitely a question worth asking. But for me, if you've got a guy that is producing the way that he is, by the way, I was at that game in Detroit against the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday, which, by the way, it was my first time. This is the only thing I can actually
brag moment. It's okay.
I'm just like a little tiny, like, giddy moment. I got paid to cover an NFL game, everybody that's listening. It was a dream of mine. I've been working towards it for a long time as a member of the media. So I got there, got to see it live. It was amazing. Was on the sidelines, got to interview Rivers, Eckler, Stafford. It was awesome. Point being, Eckler should have had another touchdown. He had one called back on a drive. Then on that same exact drive, there was a pass interference against the Lions. He tried to go up and over from the 1 yard line for a second time in the game. This time the ball jarred loose before he was able to break the plane of the goal line and ended up losing a fumble on the 1 yard line. Point is, Eckler could have even had a better day than he had on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jackson's in and out of there. He gives him a spell, but Eckler is clearly the guy that you need to, he is a bona fide top 10 running back week in, week out with top 5 upside until Gordon comes back. You hold and you ride it as long as it lasts.
The only thing I would say is if you were to sell him, you get a king's ransom for him. So it depends on who you have else at the running back position. If you want to go ahead and post that, that'd be great. If there's other positions that you're desperately needing, like, there's reasons to do the trade, but don't do it unless you're absolutely desperate for it or the guy that wants him is willing to give you the farm for him.
Agreed. So, Aiden Tabor. Aiden, what's up, my man? Emmanuel Sanders, Tyler Boyd, Christian Kirk, John Ross, or Terry McLaurin. McLaurin? I
want to go with McLaurin.
And by the way, I hate that shit where people steal the Scary Terry thing from Terry Rozier over in Boston. Give the guy his own damn nickname. Don't steal it and then stamp it on another person. That's bullshit. That's
cheating. It's cheating.
It is cheating.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my apologies again. I don't know why I couldn't even pronounce his name correctly, and here I am. I'm trying to deflect. I can't even pronounce it correctly. Emmanuel Sanders, Tyler Boyd, Christian Kirk, John Ross, or Terry McLaurin for my wide receiver too. First off, if they're all on your same team, that's a ton of great options.
A lot of good backups. Almost like too many good options right there.
So for me, though, it's Tyler Boyd. If we're talking right now, I'm still trusting Tyler Boyd. Look, John Ross, he's actually one of my sell high candidates. I mean, he's off to a great start this year. One of the touchdowns he scored against the Seahawks was complete bullshit. The free safety completely mistimed his jump on a last-second heave to end the first half. Like, it's complete luck. So I'm not saying that John Ross is a bum or a scrub, but also A.J. Green is going to come back, and I think we're going to see John Ross see fewer targets. So if we're talking the rest of the year, then I don't like him either. Tyler Boyd is the guy I like, although I can also make a case for Emmanuel Sanders because Emmanuel Sanders is still the damn man. And he is clearly healthy from tearing his Achilles last year. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy recovery that he had. And honestly, I would be picking Sanders as well right now. But week 3, they're going against the Packers. And the Packers defense has shown up this year. So, which is...
I like Jair Alexander a lot.
Yeah.
People aren't talking about enough about him. So
I think of that list, I'm going to have to defer from you and go with John Ross. But... that's just because I want to disagree with you.
That's really rude. And Aiden Tabor, congrats, my brother. Hey, you know what? And Nick Bird, you said the same thing. That's awesome. Congrats. You have a great TV radio voice. Well, I know I look bright red right now, but I'm even turning even more red from blushing. But no, in all seriousness, for you guys have given me the platform to be able to talk sports for years now here on Fantasy Focus. So I really have you guys to thank for, joining, listening, everything like that. You guys have given me the opportunity to be able to talk sports before I was able to get my first opportunity in media. So, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing it. So,
if I could cry, I would.
I'm not trying to make anybody cry. Come on.
I'm dead inside, so I don't cry, but that's just...
All right. Well, if you're dead inside, then we have a question for you.
Perfect.
Hell of a segue. Nick Bird, I have Dalvin Cook, Eckler, Breda, Montgomery, and Singletary.
Holy shit.
Nice.
You're just bragging? My receivers are weak. Okay.
Look, do not drop your, roster baiting load in the comment section, but it's okay if you have a question.
Yeah.
But my receivers a week had considered trying to get Hopkins or Adams for Eckler. Look, if you can, then given your depth at running back, I would.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even if the person that's got these players is desperate at running back, you could even pawn off your last 3 of this list and still probably get somebody really good.
Yeah, because the upside with Braden Montgomery and Singletary, I saw somebody on Reddit call him single carry today because the man is averaging 12 yards a carry this year, and the man is still being out-touched by Frank Gore.
Single carry. That's
that I actually got to applaud someone that came up with something like that. It's a hell of a nice pun. I'm actually kind of jealous. But so Nick, if you're asking me, I'd be willing to trade Eckler for Adams or Hopkins. Yes.
Go window shopping with your lot that you have. Go window shopping. Feel out what the other teams are doing because there's going to be somebody that's desperate just given that it's going into week 3 and then they want something else.
Okay, so this is
Matty Bowles.
And I was kind of waiting for a question about Cam Newton. He's heavily invested in Cam in many leagues. How screwed am I? Sam, I'll let you jump in.
Matt, I like you. You're awesome, but you're a little bit screwed. So I really hope you have a second quarterback or you've picked someone up on waivers this week because just given the types of throws that we're seeing out of Cam, his shoulder is still not right. He is not throwing over the top. He's not getting that length that you know that he can get. He's not even running the way we know he can run. So he is banged up. And I mean, though I don't see people like McCaffrey seeing too much of a dip just because they're so talented and they're always going to get the ball even at short range, they making it work. I would really hope that you picked someone up on waivers for Cam. I'm sorry.
So, Matt, I'm not going to say that you're completely screwed. We don't know.
I don't want to say it.
Well, I don't want to say it because we don't know it yet, but I'll say this. I was watching I rewatched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers.
You would.
And Cam doesn't look healthy.
Nope.
Cam is off rhythm, off target. Curtis Samuel could have had 3 touchdowns in this game. Like, that's how open he got on multiple occasions. And don't be wrong, Todd Bowles is doing a great job with the defensive backs there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did a good job in week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. And then in week 2, they really stifled this Panthers offense. So for me, Cam doesn't look right. He aggravated that foot injury. I don't know if he's even going to go this week. So I don't know if you want to take a look at your waiver wire real quick and let us know what options there are at quarterback to go ahead and pick up. Let us know so we can kind of try to help you guide you through this Cam Newton dilemma that you have. So, but you do have my condolences because he has sucked so far this year.
And the hats that he's picking this season are not helping either.
Agreed. 100%. Aiden Tabor, again, I have Darren Waller. I wanted to trade for a better tight end because I have the depth to do so. Do you think I should try to trade or stick with Waller? So Darren Waller, Tyrell Williams is a little bit banged up there in Oakland. For me, I'm going to roll with Waller. Unless you have, you get a gift wrap trade opportunity to get someone like an Evan Ingram that's having a very good start to the year or something of that nature, or George Kittle, which I think is a great buy low, by the way. He's a great buy low.
Absolutely.
Unless you get like one of those 2 players for a fair price, then I'm okay rolling with Darren Waller as my tight end. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, unless you were to get someone that you could buy low on, like Kittle, who I think is going to, by the end of the season, exceed Waller's points. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, because you couldn't trade Waller and get like. You can't get one of the top 3 right now unless someone's just not paying attention to what's happening.
Well, I mean, right now in PPR formats, Darren Waller is the tight end 8. Mm-hmm. So you're not really able to go much further up.
Yeah.
I mean, what, you have Evan Ingram, Mark Andrews, and Travis Kelce? I mean, maybe Delaney Walker if you're a big fan of him, but Zach Ertz, who's off to a slow start. But
McDonald, who's going to see a higher volume?
I don't know. I mean, he's got 15 targets through the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with my tight end getting 7 targets.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what your other needs are, but I wouldn't panic having Waller.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything out of the ordinary to go get another tight end when you have to.
No, you're going into week 3. I mean, this is more like a discussion for, okay, you're in week 8 and you're making a playoff push. Who can I push that much further on my roster? So
I think Waller's doing a sufficient job at the current moment.
Mhm.
So I've got a question. This is definitely from Ryan Levy because it's fantasy focus, and I didn't type this into the damn chat comment section. Half point PPR, Chris Carson or Aaron Jones. So we saw Carson blow up in week 1. We saw Aaron Jones blow up in week 2. These are both guys I like, so this is a good problem to have, Levy. I'm assuming it's Levy.
Probably is one of his thousands of leagues that he's in. Managed to get both.
Denver hasn't been as great against the run as I thought that they would be.
Yeah.
So, but the Seattle Seahawks, what they do is run the football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to go Carson.
Yeah. What they do is run the football. Pittsburgh has actually been able to hold the runners pretty well. I mean, considering our defense is still a work in progress and we just, reached out to get that better one. So I'm going to lean towards Aaron Jones this week, actually.
I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I think they're both good options. So lucky you.
They're both good options. Levy, you drafted well.
Tap him on the back. Rock out. What's up, bud? Thanks for joining us. Would you trade Kupp for Mack? My running back 2 sucks. I got Williams from Kansas City, Duke Johnson, Singletary. By the way, Singletary doesn't suck. He's just not getting enough carries, and he's injured, though. So point is, 10-man team, full-point PPR, 2 flexes. My wide receivers are D-Hop. I'm assuming that's Amari Cooper, Kupp, Tyrell Williams, Sanders, Sterling Shepard. So, I mean, if you got to make a move for a running back, Kupp for Mack, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds fine. I mean, I'm the kind of person that will, if I know I'm shopping a specific player and I'm looking for something specific, I will go to other people and just say, hey, what would you do straight up for this? And just see what I can get. But I would do Kupp for Mack, probably.
But Kupp looks healthy, which is encouraging.
Healthy, though. So I think for the right buyer, you could actually get a little bit more.
Correct. I mean, I'm high on Kupp. And the fact that
he's going to exceed his targets from last year for sure, because he was on track for a crazy record last year before he got hurt.
And rock out again. We don't like roster baiting in our comment section. Your running back won this week. Congratulations!
It's nice to be.
No, I'm kidding. Ryan B. Another question. Half point PPR to start this week. Devin Smith, which that's under the radar. Sam Devin Smith looked good for the Dallas Cowboys, and there's no Michael Gallup.
True.
John Brown, Calvin Ridley, our boy Terry, Scary Terry again, and DJ Moore. So I'm going to roll with Ridley. Ridley's looked great this year.
Yeah, I would say I kind of want to go Ridley too. So Ryan, you're getting a good answer out of both of us if we both agree, which is kind of rare. So
yeah, it's kind of rare. It is kind of rare.
Yeah. Which is why it's called the debate, because we don't agree.
We are supposed to disagree just for disagree's purposes. Yes. But sometimes we're going unscripted here, so we're
okay, good. Oh, thank you, Matt. I'm so happy that you saved yourself. You have backups. That's good. Wait, do you have Lamar Jackson too?
If you have Lamar Jackson, then I don't want to hear another word about you being screwed with Cam Newton. You have the top scoring player in all of fantasy football, Matt. If that is the case, I want you to clarify that. But if you have Lamar, you're fine.
Yeah. What? No, come on.
Then I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. Gee, I retract my sympathy. Aiden Tabor. My team is Lamar Jackson, Chris Carson, Run, CMC, Antonio Brown, and Aaron Jones, Darren Waller, and a bunch of decent wide receivers. Do you think I should trade for another big-name wide receiver? Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
because
you could.
Antonio Brown scares the living hell out of me moving forward.
I completely agree. I think you could easily sell him high for someone and get something better. I mean, you've got some good depth there, so yeah, I think you could definitely trade a couple of those guys. One or a couple.
I mean, Carson or Aaron Jones themselves should get you a pretty good wide receiver. You sell Christian McCaffrey, then you'll get a stud. You'll get whoever the hell you want.
But
And Lamar Jackson, if you have a good backup quarterback, you can get one and keep the core of your team.
Yeah. But okay, so of that list, who I would trade Chris Carson, I would trade Antonio Brown, I would trade Aaron Jones. I would keep the others. This is kind of like that game, blank, marry, kill.
Oh, well, you mean
I can't say the word.
It rhymes with buck.
Yeah, rhymes with buck. Buck, marry, kill.
Okay. I didn't expect that to be thrown at my direction. So, yes.
Which I could also answer that question with this list.
What about Aguilar? What about Aguilar or Ridley from Ryan B? Aguilar, with all the pass catching options getting nicked up this week for the Philadelphia Eagles, I'd still go Ridley.
Yeah, look, Ridley too.
Ridley all day. I think we're going to see more of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside this week.
Just fun to say.
Oh, I turned on the announcer voice for that. It was like J.J.
Arcega-Whiteside.
I
enters
really
the ring.
Look, I like my boy J.J. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside reminds me of a poor man's Mike Evans, which unfortunately Mike Evans has been off to an absolute shit start. But, we can get to that. Aiden Tabor. Any big name? Speaking of which, right on cue. Any big name wide receivers that you should target? Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. Who is my best buy low of the week is Mike Evans, because with the way that they're throwing the ball, Chris Godwin is only beating him out in targets 1 a week. So Godwin had 6 in week 1. Evans had 5. Last week, Godwin had 9. Evans had 8. He is just waiting for that right, perfect fit, and he's going to go off again. They're playing the Giants this week. This is the week to buy low on him before he has that big game. I think he's a great one to target.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I think that Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins, is still a pretty damn good corner. He's not great, but he's still a good one. I don't know if I see Mike Evans having a monster week. The problem is that Jameis Winston can't throw a deep ball to save his life.
He's trying to save his life right now with how much he's throwing. He has to keep throwing to save his starting position.
Agreed that he has to win, and he played a clean game, which is rare for Jameis Winston. You ever see that meme for Star Wars, Admiral Akbar? It's a trap. It's a trap. Jameis Winston's going to turn the ball over this upcoming game and moving on through the rest of the 2019
season. He'll always turn it over, but he's still going to have to keep throwing it.
Now, I got to put this comment. Nikki J. Jenkins can't cover my 92-year-old grandmother this year.
There you go.
Look, if you're a Giants fan right now.
The Giants are also a dumpster fire. Drink, word of the night.
That is the word of the night. So we don't condone, binge drinking here on Fantasy Focus. But if you're drinking a cup of cola, every time we say dumpster fire this year, go ahead and take a sip.
Cheers.
Cheers. Point being,
we don't condone binge drinking.
Your grandma's pretty fast, to be fair.
Good for her.
Does she want to run a good whip route? Could she break Janoris Jenkins off as she cuts back to the outside? Just let me know that.
She can break ankles. I want to see that video.
Ankles, son. Break ankles. But so Mike Evans, I think he's going to have a good week. I don't know if he's going to have a great week. The thing is that Chris Godwin caught 8 of his 9 targets. So he's been efficient. He's so gifted after the catch. I love me some Chris Godwin, and he seems to be – and I don't want to necessarily correlate or make it a parallel to just say, well, Bruce Arians did this in Arizona, so this is what's going to happen in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But Larry Fitzgerald was by far, even with Carson Palmer the year that they went to the NFC Championship game, Larry Fitzgerald was playing mostly out of the slot. And the fact that Chris Godwin can not only do work out of the slot, but can flex outside when need be, you can move him all over the formation. He doesn't have to come off the field. And he's clearly someone that is able to convert on the opportunities that he gets. It's just whether Winston is going to be accurate or not. So Godwin is the receiver to own in Tampa Bay. However, I don't expect the Buccaneers. I don't expect Mike Evans to continue to be as poor as he's been.
No, it's going to even out. Also, because defenses are going to see this, they're going to keep. They're obviously double teaming Evans as well. He's their number one, but they also can't. They're going to have to stop the bleeding somewhere on that offense. Defenses are. So eventually it's going to have to even out. They're going to have to go back to Evans. He's going to get some sort of big game. It's going to even out. But I do love how much volume Godwin is getting. I know he won me 2 leagues this past weekend, so I'm not going to really rain on his parade, but it's going to have to even out.
So we got Nikki J. She's more of a mid-post route runner. Look, I'm all about that RPO, ready action, pull the ball out of the belly of the running back, find him on the mid-post, like it.
Does she have an agent? I'm sure there's some teams that could use her.
Yeah, 100%. Aiden Tabor saw this on Instagram. Which will happen first? The Patriots lose or the Dolphins win? Wow. I'm going to say the Patriots lose first. 100%. Because it seems like the Patriots always have 1 or 2 games somewhere around the middle of the season.
Yeah, they have a weird game. They always have 1 or 2 weird games against a team that you don't typically expect them to lose to. But I just see the Dolphins going, the whole year. So, yeah, Patriots are going to lose.
I'm not going to use the word dumpster fire, but I will say shitfest, and that is the Miami Dolphins.
It's not even a cleaner phrase.
I didn't say, who said it had to be cleaner? It just – anyway, Matt Voles. 3 separate leagues, but still means I have a lot of Newton investment. Let's rephrase the question. How long are you keeping Newton rostered before you cut bait and drop him?
I think it's too early to cut him, but week 4, I would cut him after that.
Wait to see if he plays this week. If he doesn't play this week, then go ahead and let him go. I mean, that's fine with me. If he's sucking already as it is, look like dog shit the first 2 weeks, and he doesn't play in week 3, then I feel like he's safe to drop for this week. But
it just depends on that league's quarterback depth.
Correct.
If there's plenty of depth, then drop him sooner. But if there is barely any depth, then I would hold on to him just maybe a couple more weeks before you cut him.
Ryan B. AJ Green for Titans D. Dude, if you didn't press accept, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Yes. Take AJ Green. He'll be back probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, he did mess up all the ligaments in his ankle, but
I mean, that is.
They'll tape it up. They'll tape it up. He'll be fine.
Tape it up. Get out there. Get out there.
You're fine. Just run on the one leg you have.
Nikki J. She turned down Rosenhaus and went with a local Jersey agent. This guy needs to take my place on the podcast. He's got way more hot takes than I do. So let's go ahead and jump. Oh, sorry, you had something to add to it?
No.
Great. Nikki J is an all-star.
I just love the sleeper pick and Nikki J's grandma. Can we get her a nickname?
We're going to make that a hashtag. Nikki J's grandma runs post routes all day.
Yeah.
So, but hey, by the way, it's a good chance.
Also, who gets the contract first, her or Melvin Gordon?
What's that?
Who gets the contract first, her or Melvin Gordon?
Oh, that's fantastic. Please make a graphic for that and post that on Instagram.
I'll do it.
So, by the way, if it's your first time joining the show, our channel, etc., go ahead if you can punch the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. We do a live show every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to go ahead and answer any and all of your questions heading into this Sunday slate of matchups. However, we do have a couple. Let's hit it real quick when it comes to the buy low or sell highs that we have for this week. For buy lows, Joe Mixon tops my list. Look, this offensive line has been dog shit. They've been terrible. It's not Joe Mixon.
Your language tonight has been offensive, sir.
It's been bad, but I haven't dropped an F-bomb courtesy of our sponsors over at the Original Hooters. By the way, go check out the Original Hooters. Get some wingy. In your system. But Joe Mixon has been awful the first 2 weeks. Look, he got injured, didn't finish the game in week 1. In week 2, I went back and watched every single one of his carries. There was no running room. There was a ton of missed blocking assignments. He did what he could with the touches he got. Now, it could be like that all year is what someone would argue, but I'm going to go ahead and make the counter argument that better days are ahead for the Cincinnati Bengals. Especially their offense. I like what I've seen from Tyler Boyd, John Ross, and they're going to get AJ Green back. And Dalton is traditionally been a much better quarterback when AJ Green is available. So for me, Mixon is a very good buy low. He already practiced today on Wednesday. He wasn't practicing last week. It looks like he did not re-aggravate that ankle injury. I expect big things from Mixon for the rest of the year, even though he's had a horrible start.
He's got a few good matchups coming up as well, so I can definitely see that working out well for him. I already said my best buy low was Mike Evans. Don't need to restate that a couple times. But my sell high would be Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think that he obviously is an MVP candidate if he could maintain this. However, he did do all of this against the Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins. So that is, I mean, until we see him go against a defense that is substantial, I don't see him maintaining it. He can't maintain these numbers. He just can't. I mean, it would be great if he did. It would look awesome. Awesome MVP candidate. I loved watching him when he played for Louisville. But, I mean, I just don't see it be sustainable. He does have a really good schedule, and I know that he's going to have probably a shootout this weekend against Kansas City, but I do see him finding some sort of struggle. There's going to be a defense that works him out, and he's going to struggle. So I would sell him high if you have him. If you drafted him, you probably drafted him as a QB2. So you have the ability to sell high on him.
Likely, yeah. I mean, explore your options with Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
At least explore them. I'm not saying you have to pull the trigger. I'm just saying he could be a league winner.
He
so
could too, sure, but
only sell him if somebody overpays. Like if they give you a stud, if somebody offers you, I'll ask you, if somebody offers you DeAndre Hopkins for Lamar Jackson,
accept.
Hit accept.
If someone offers you Christian McCaffrey for Lamar Jackson,
accept. Like it's again,
there's some obvious easy ones, but there are going to be people that would make that trade. And again, you probably did not draft him as your number one quarterback.
So just see what, if you have them, shop them. See what you can get for them.
Go window shopping.
Go window shopping. Agreed.
Window shopping.
So before I get to my sell highs, I'm going to mention two buy lows. George Kittle. Look, do not forget this man scored twice against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they called it back via penalty. So Kittle is still a focal point of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy G is under center, and Jimmy G looks good.
He always looks good.
Sam,
I just have to throw speed bumps into you. Sometimes.
It's fine. And hold on, we do have to ask this. Nick Bird asked what you're drinking. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Bon and Viv spiked seltzers. They're way better than White Claw and less calories.
Okay. We'll answer that question. I'm drinking wine out of a. That doesn't make me sound like a man. Anyway.
I know my Bon and Viv seltzer sounds way more manly than your wine out of a mug.
Point being, when it comes to George Kittle, though, I'm encouraged that Jimmy G has looked better. I'm encouraged that he's looked better on the field. Yeah, he's always looked good off the field. Yeah, he's a handsome dude. I get it. But he's looked good on the field, even against the Buccaneers defense that looks to be a little bit better than it was in years past. And he torched the Cincinnati defense. So Jimmy G, it's only a matter of time before George Kittle finds the end zone. Don't panic on him. And if you have that hole at tight end, go ahead and try to put an offer out there for George Kittle. Just see what people are willing to do. And also Devonta Freeman. Freeman's off to a horrible start, but he has played against two units up front that are actually pretty stout with the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they were without the services of Malik Jackson and the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm not willing to give up on Devonta Freeman yet. If you can get him for a dirt cheap price, because people that had him last year are probably not high on him, throw an offer out there, see if you can get Freeman. But my sell high, and people aren't going to like this because it's in the air raid offense, it's Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitz has been great through the first 2 weeks of the year. Kyler Murray looked exponentially better from start to finish against the Baltimore Ravens than he did against the Detroit Lions in week 1. I mean, I know that Christian Kirk finally bounced back, but I just don't think that Larry Fitzgerald can sustain this through the rest of the year. We've seen him in years past get off to fast starts only to tail off towards the end of the year. I don't think that the separation is there necessarily anymore. And I know that they're throwing the ball a hell of a lot there in Arizona right now, which is the counter argument to this.
Sure.
But for me, if you can get top dollar for a name that has been a fantasy producer for the last decade, throw it out there, see if someone nibbles on it.
I mean, going back to the wine that you're drinking, he is a fine wine that has, improved with age. So he has that name. It's a name brand. I understand wanting to sell that high. And I mean, if you look down at the receptions, Christian Kirk is eking closer and closer to his numbers. The only thing he hasn't beat on is really yards. And that's just because he's that kind of a producer. So I totally could see end of season that balancing out. Selling high, I just don't know what I would get in return for Larry Fitz.
Well, that's why I said test the market, window shop, see what's out there, see if someone bites on a name like Larry Fitzgerald.
Now let's just go really quickly back to Nikki J, who's got an amazing nickname for his grandmother. Irish Lightning was her nickname when she was back in NYC in 1935. That's a sick nickname.
If you can shed some details on that Irish Lightning nickname and how she got it, that would make my night, Nikki J. You've already made my night. You lost Njoku though in a 12-team league on Monday. So Witten or Rudolph?
Witten or Rudolph?
Witten. He's scored in 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I don't trust Rudolph. I don't trust Kirk Cousins right now. Period.
No, Kirk Cousins has looked horrible. What is happening over there?
I mean, week 1, he really didn't have to do much.
No, but still, like, this just doesn't seem. I mean, maybe it's also just too soon. Too soon to call, but I mean, it's a little bit of a panic over there with Thielen and Diggs.
1-1. They need to stop overreacting. This Packers defense did a number on the Bears too. So True. Is it possible that the Packers defense is just good this year?
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess that's the biggest surprise is just how good Packers defense is this year.
Which, by the way, shout out to Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's absolutely killing it this year. Finally.
When Dalvin Cook tunes into our podcast, he's going to be like, oh, they shouted me out.
Laugh my ass off. Lamar Jackson isn't my quarterback, too. I drafted him and Kyler and praying for a risk to pay off, and all my friends called me idiot. Well, they're idiots.
They're idiots.
They're dumbasses. And we already had the answer from that question.
Bon and Viv Seltzer. I hope to get sponsored.
Speaking of sponsors, we have to go ahead and give a quick shout out again to the original Hooters for sponsoring the fantasy debate with Sam and Tate here on Fantasy Focus. Again, thank you everybody for your questions, interaction. Again, we will be back on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time answering any of all your questions. The original Fantasy Focus crew will be there, myself along with Matt Bucks and Ryan Levy. Look, if you guys want to start a petition, sound off in the comments saying we want Sam on the Sunday morning show. Just start. We have to give the people what they want. So if you want more Sam, let us know you want more Sam. Point is, Sam, do we have a final debate today?
Oh, I did want to bring this up. Okay, I don't even know how to phrase this question properly, but for an adult male, at what age should you always include a vegetable in at least 1 to 2 meals, in your day? I think at least 1, because everyone needs their vegetables. Derek, on the other hand, I believe sides with the 0 of vegetables per meals per day.
Look, you don't need green in everyone. You don't need green once a day, in my opinion. I mean, just take a multivitamin. I'd rather eat what I want to eat all day and get the vitamins from a can because it can give you the same exact thing, even though I know that there's going to be health nuts out there.
There's so many other things that vegetables give you. There's fiber. There's so many other different types of vitamins that you can't just get from a multivitamin. And
look, I'm not saying that I drop chicken wings in a fryer every day and, down them with a thing of ranch every single day or house an entire extra large pizza or anything like that.
What are you eating? What do you eat all day? Do you eat chicken nuggets? Do you eat chicken nuggets and fries twice a day?
No, normally it involves like grilled chicken is one of my is like
what do you do for a side?
I throw a lot of I'll do some eggs, some bacon and stuff like that.
Are you doing full keto? Why is there no other side that's not a protein?
Because I like to be a man and have protein and everything.
I mean, there's only a certain.
You can be a man and eat vegetables too. I get it.
Are you lifting? Are you going to the gym every day, 10 times a day?
You work out more than I do.
Are you Michael Phelps? Is that why you're eating this much protein? What is happening?
I have no idea. I have not figured it out myself. My humble apologies. But point is, I apologize to anybody that's offended that I am not a vegan or not eating enough vegetables on a daily basis. I do actually have to take care of that and take care of myself a little bit better. But Nikki J gave us some context. She grew up in the Bronx and had to run for her life. Ask Levy about Murph. My grandmother is faster than Murph. I will have to ask Levy a little about some more details.
We'll have to shed some more light on this story because it is just getting interesting, and I cannot wait for the 30 for 30 on Nikki J's grandmother.
Nikki J's grandma that runs post routes.
Yeah. The
mid-range post routes. He was specific about it too. Mid-range post routes. And Nick Bird, first time here, enjoyed it. We definitely need more Sam. There we go.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that.
Agree, we knew more Sam. And Geesh, hello everyone. Well, hello to you too, Geesh. Even though we are going to go ahead and sign off for this episode of the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate. I've got a sign off line. Ryan B, look, you got this one in at the very end. McLaurin or AJ Green for the year? Real quick.
I'm going to go McLaurin real quick just because I do not see AJ Green coming back from this injury and being 100% just because of the type of injury it is. So I'm going McLaurin.
You know, I'm going to go AJ Green because I know what I'm getting when it comes to AJ Green. McLaurin scored a very, 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 very late touchdown at the end of last week's game. And I know that he was great in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Hell, we may see Dwayne Haskins if things continue to go south for the Washington Redskins, which I know they play together at Ohio State, but I just don't know what I'm getting with McLaurin for the rest of the year. If AJ Green is healthy, then I know what I'm getting with AJ Green. And Nikki G said Murph is lightning quick. So on that note, what's your sign-off line, Sam?
I don't have a sign-off line, but I just want to say, if you want to give us some love, just follow us on Twitter. I'm Samantha R. Holt. Follow the Fantasy Focused. It's Fantasy Focused with 2 Ds at the end on Twitter as well, and at Dtater4 on Twitter. On Instagram, I'm at Sam_awesome because obviously I'm awesome. And Derek is the same with all of his handles everywhere at Dtater4. So go ahead and follow us if you like us.
I'm consistent across the board. Until next time, later.
Vegetables.
Until next time, later, says the Tater.